Oh, he went direct TV and stuff.
No, Kevin Smith went from city to city and basically would screen the movie in one night and do like a Q&A afterwards and charge a lot of money for the people to watch the movie, as I understand it.
Okay.
And so what I'm doing is completely opposite. What we're doing is we're saying to any kid in America, if you want to see this movie, you can see, because we made it for these little punk rock kids that are outside the box that nobody's making movies for. It's like Tyler Perry in the African-American community. Nobody makes fucking movies for those guys. And he does, and he kills it. So what I'm doing is I'm going out and finding these punk rock kids and making this fucking tiny little badass movie that's about a kid that doesn't belong, he doesn't fit in, he's got his fucking ass kicked, he's about to kill himself.
I'm in.
And he finds this punk rock kid, and they start a band. And so I'm making this movie.
What's more punk rock than being a big fucking fat kid in a polo shirt waiting for a bus?
Yeah, but he doesn't know that, dude. He doesn't know that. He thinks he's fucking lost and a failure, and he's going to kill himself.
Yeah.
So in the first part, like the first frames of the movie, he's about to jump in front of a bus.
Yeah, and then the kid saves his life.
Yeah, and so our whole thing is...
That's in the trailer, just so you guys aren't like, what the fuck, JJ? You're killing us.
We don't want to see that movie.
Cher dies?
Cher.
Call back.
He fucking shot Cher, man. That is bullshit. I had that shit in my Netflix queue, and he fucked it up for me.
That's funny. So instead of going down the middle of the road, we're trying to do something that's never been done, where it's outside the box, and we're fucking excited.
Were you bullied as a kid?
Yes. I mean, I wasn't bullied as a kid. The reason I'm funny is because I was a fat kid growing up. That's
really?
The only reason.
Yes, you're so
dude.
Tall and lean.
Well, now. But I was a
that's
fucking
kind of what
Daryl.
I meant. I right here in front of me.
Yeah,
you're so tall and lean.
Unless you get me in front of a mirror half naked. No, but yeah, I was a learning disability. I had glasses and braces, and I was fucking overweight.
Like Jerry O'Connell was fat as a kid, and now he's got like manorexia.
It's the same thing. I mean, I'm not.
But you don't have manorexia.
No, I'm not nearly as buff.
But you don't want to be buff like that. You know, Ed Burns on the side of the groomsmen, that's when I started to get my gut that I'm still working off. And he goes, don't worry about it, Jay Moores. Any happily married man with a six-pack, you got to question his sexuality. It's one of the best things ever said to me. He goes,
you got better, by the way.
He goes, you got to tell my wife that?
He goes, you got a beautiful wife laying in bed. You're next to the bed doing crunches? Come on. Just keep doing curls. Make sure your arms stay big. They don't care. They all got daddy issues. They just want to be held in the big arms, man. I said, all right.
I love that.
You were bullied just for being fat? Was it like, hey, fatso?
But it wasn't. I just didn't really fit in. I wasn't bullied. But I was funny. I got funny instead of being that guy. Look, there was a guy that every year there was that kid that people picked on. There's a good story, actually. So we had a kid at our school.
Mostly?
This is in Tustin. We had a kid at our school. They got beat up. They moved to a different school district. And our senior year in high school, he held up his senior, and this is before Columbine. This is 1988. He held up his senior econ class with a shotgun and a semi-automatic weapon. And his demands were, Jeff Cox was his name. His demands were a case of Coca-Cola, $1 million, and a plane to Paraguay or some shit. And true story, he meant business, so he shot the 9mm into the ceiling. It jammed, and the jock in the front row got up and kicked the shit out of him.
He got bullied.
True story.
He got bullied.
So this kid that I didn't beat up, but I chased around, because if it wasn't him getting chased around, it was going to be me getting chased around.
You were the next one.
Like, in that order of the pecking order of kids getting their ass kicked, I was like third or fourth from the bottom. Like, so at any one time, if I lose any kind of clout, I'm that guy. And the one thing that helped is I got funny. You weren't born funny. You got made funny.
I was bullied, and I earned every beating ever. Like, I wasn't a fat guy. I was always athletic. I played baseball. I wrestled, and I was good at both. But my mouth never stops going now. So imagine me pre-stand-up comedy, pre-Klonopin and Xan, pre any medication that a doctor has given me for, like, panic disorder and, manic depressive. So, like, me just at, like, 11 running around batshit crazy made bullies turn from, like, the Indian kid exchange student to go, hey, why don't you shut your fucking mouth? And I would be like, why don't you shut your fucking mouth? And then I now
You
have
invited that.
I've made a bully.
But are you that? You're still that way. You're still yes.
No, enlightened
Dude,
is the man that walks away from conflict. What?
Yeah,
like
but in your life, you still have conflict in your life.
no.
Really?
Out on the streets?
No, like on Gary Unmarried in Hollywood. Do you have conflict in
I
your
roll
life?
over and take it right in the ass. I don't give a shit.
No, you don't.
Sure I do.
You do not. I don't think that's true.
She knows me. I would say most of the time.
What do you think?
She's going to say 30% of the
she doesn't
time I
wanna say
rail
it
against the
'cause
system.
She's mustache central.
I don't have a mustache. I think you still talk.
No, he's not saying talking. He's
Not
saying
No. You definitely talk.
Your mouth gets you in trouble.
yes.
No,
My mouth,
what
my
I'm
mouth
saying-
still definitely gets me in trouble.
There's no
but
doubt
that really
about
wasn't.
that.
But that wasn't your question.
But you are still, you are an antagonist. You antagonize the system. You antagonize Hollywood. You antagonize writers.
No, absolutely not. Corey,
No, no, you don't.
emphatic no.
Absolutely.
Come on.
She said it.
I'm asking you.
I would say no. I got into a dust up that I'm not going to talk about because I set it down. I got into a dust up like with another crew that was just so stupid and juvenile.
Another crew, like another.
I'll tell you off the air, but
Okay.
it's the whole thing that I wanted to take I wanted to take my full responsibility, and I wasn't able to actually meet with these people and say I was wrong, and that was that. And so it's still to this day. I'll tell you later. It's the
Haunts
whole-
you.
He steps back from it now. You step back from it now.
Yeah, I learned a very valuable lesson, and that is it never stops. With the age of the internet, if you are if you instigate shit,
Sure.
it never stops.
Sure.
It never, ever, ever stops.
I did that. I did that with Harry Knowles 8 years ago.
Who's Harry Knowles?
Harry Knowles is the guy at Ain't It Cool News. And I was like, I felt like he was picking on me for no reason.
Well,
So
they are. They're assholes. And that's not me instigating. That's his job, is to be like, what's with Jay Mohr's wife's face? Ain't it cool news? Here's a picture of Nikki Cox after being up all night with a baby, leaving CVS to get a baby prescription. So she obviously didn't put on makeup. They don't put that part. They just go, uh-oh, somebody took fat from their ass and injected it into their lips. No, she's big lips. What happened to blowjob lips being a cool thing? Now all of a sudden you got to read the tabloids about what's wrong with her lips. Nothing. Look at her baby pictures. Big lips. But those Ain't It Cool News and all the TMZ guys, like they're never outside the club filming you to go, he just made a movie that's like an anti-bullying message.
Sure,
No.
right.
It's like Matthew Lillard, somebody's fly is down.
Right.
So what did you say to Harry Knowles?
It was 100 years ago. And I just said,
No, you said it was 6. 8.
it was, no, Scooby-Doo. It was during Scooby-Doo 1. So that was...
All right, regardless,
Anyways,
what was
a long time ago, I basically said, if you want to be taken seriously, don't call me names, and don't. I think he said something like,
But just out of the blue, he's reviewing the movie and says like, and by the way, what's with
Yeah,
Matthew Lillard? He's a fucking weirdo.
yeah, and he's also reviewing a movie that had never been seen. He was giving it shit because I was in it, and Freddie Prinze Jr. was in it, and the fact that I'm even bringing this up is stupid.
My
because
wife should have been
everything's
Daphne.
buried, and I feel great, and Ain't It Cool News.
My
loves that
wife should
fucking
have been
movie.
Daphne.
Your wife should have been Daphne.
Nikki Cox should have been Daphne. Velma, you can
Is
keep.
awesome.
Yeah, she's perfect. Freddie, you know what? I'll even give you Freddie Prinze as Fred with the blonde wig.
Sure,
Sarah Michelle Gellar, come on, no way, no way.
huge star.
Then
Yeah, she's still. I will say this about Sarah Michelle Gellar. She has a thing about her when she works.
when I works hard.
No, she's electric. Like she has that je ne sais quoi, that thing where you're like, fucking, I can't take my eyes off of you when she works. True story.
That's how I feel about you.
Yeah.
We're sitting on the front porch in the groomsmen, and I'm like, Jesus, this guy's got a je ne sais quoi. And that was the name of the Italian beer you were drinking in the scene when your crabby wife came home.
that
in the
the gayest
movie. In the
thing
movie,
it's the
your
worst
crabby
thing ever.
wife in the movie, she was super crabby.
She was crabby.
And then she comes home with Italian beer, and it's called je ne sais quoi. No, I would say I'm absolutely not an antagonist now. I was very recently in a very specific thing, and it just went poorly.
Just doesn't stop, yeah.
And I just went, you know what? And I learned a lesson, and I went back to work on me and really took a fearless moral inventory of myself. And I realized, A, I'm an egomaniac, and B, I'm super sensitive. So everything I can get into that would cause...
That all comes from insecurity. Both those things are just an insecurity.
But I don't think I'm in it. My wife always says I'm the only comic that doesn't have like that weird, giant, fucking damaged hole. And because I just grew up in the suburbs like a guy, and like all my problems are my problems. Like it wasn't because I grew up and got whooped and did all this shit, and I was left alone and locked in a closet and raised in a Skinner box. It's just look at me, look at me, look at me. I want to be the center of attention. I want it a lot,
right?
And then you can get paid for it. And then when people say negative things about you, you take it way too hard.
You have that though. You have that thing where on a set or in any environment, you make me, you are funny. You are automatically the funniest guy in the room. And you make me fall back into myself because I can't compete with you. And that's the thing is that you are genuinely one of the funniest guys I've ever met in my life. And I'll tell you who else is like that. Marlon Wayans is like that. Marlon Wayans is legitimately funny. Anytime you meet him, he like takes the attention in a room. And when I'm around a really funny guy, I go quiet.
I'm trying to stop that behavior that you're talking about on a set because I think it's directly proportionate to the work that you put in. Like if I'm making you laugh so hard with the Tracy Morgan impression and then they say action, there is sort of like a cowboy mentality like I can talk to Matthew Lillard and get everybody pregnant. Action. Look, we got to get these kids out of here. We have like there is like a high wire thrill to that high wire act, to talking to you and then just turning and talking and saying something serious. Sure. But I hate that about myself. I hate that you fall into yourself on a set because I have like a compulsion to make everyone laugh on the set of like The Groomsmen with these incredible people like John Leguizamo not getting a word in edgewise. I look back and I go, I want to be funny. But my dream in life, really, Matt, is to be the guy that like just sits back, lays back in the cut, and then every once in a while just fucking hits that bomb.
Yeah, but
like
that's
that
like
David Freese Game 6 St. Louis Cardinal home run where you're like, well, David Freese, wow.
Yeah, but that's not. But you. Yeah, but that you are what you are. Right. You can't go against your natural. I mean, you can't change your.
I understand that, and you can't say. And I used to say this to my wife too. A leopard. They always say a leopard can't change his spots, but you can certainly get it to run in a different direction.
Sure. Well, you can't. But by the way, but then it becomes about. My only suggestion to you in that, and this is, if it comes about the work, if it comes about the script, if it comes about the acting, then all that stuff will go away. If it's not about Jay Mohr and it becomes about I have a story to tell and I'm really interested in being really great as an actor.
Yes.
But if you don't have that drive, that's never going to go away.
But what I'm saying is I have that drive now more than ever because I wish I could do all my movies over again and approach it the way I know it should be approached. If you're that guy that's so funny, the funniest guy I've ever met on a set, a director, then you're not the guy that destroyed that part. They think of you, and this is in my mind, but I think I'm right. Like Ed Burns isn't thinking about me going, you know who would really be incredible in this dramatic role? He just thinks of me as this like light on the set and not Farley-esque light, just a light like this source of energy that's going and laughing and we're all laughing. And me as like a viable actor never crosses his mind because when he thinks of me, he just thinks about everybody laughing like, yeah, that was like, you never get taken seriously. So that's what I'm talking about.
But I understand that.
I still want to make people laugh on set.
Sure.
But I want to do it like in the makeup room before we go to work. And then when you go to work, just everyone fucking be quiet.
I understand that need. I have the same thing. I just did a Clint Eastwood movie and I got down there and my shtick. Funny. And when it's time to go to work, I like to go to work.
Especially for Clint.
Yeah.
What movie did you do with Clint?
It's called Trouble with the Curve. Comes out in September.
How great is he that your first scene with Clint, right?
Right.
How that literally must be what it's like to step out of the back of an airplane with a parachute on you. Like we just step,
sure.
You just
it's
step out.
John Goodman, me, Amy Adams, Justin Timberlake. I mean, it's a pretty
Come
amazing.
on down to Omelettville.
He's a fucking charismatic kid.
So
he is. I'll tell you what, that dude is famous.
Yes.
He's the most famous dude I've ever seen in my life. They had a bounty on his head in Atlanta. Tell me where Justin Timberlake is.
Then
I'll give you $1,000 on the radio station.
I heard he ain't even white. I I heard he's here. I heard he's Portuguese, damn it. But the thing with Clint is it's not the regular, A, B, C, like poetic, rhyme scheme that there is in every movie. You'll back me up on this, I would assume or hope. Like literally, it's me and Matt Damon. And he goes, you guys just everything like in every movie. For those of you listening, you have to walk through the room 4 times, and a guy
in that movie
hereafter, and a guy puts tape at your feet, and like you're red tape, she's yellow tape, I'm orange, she's blue. These are your marks. Then walk over to where the elliptical is, and then me and Eric are going to talk.